What's up? My name's Jacob. I watch videos on YouTube. Lately, I've been doing a lot of funny song reactions, like the
Tim Minchin's and the Bo Burnhams of the world.
But I'm getting a kind of burnout on that content.
So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit.
I'm staying in the comedy realm, but I think I'm gonna do some more traditional stand-up bits. Editor Jacob here, and listen, you right there are trifling. You let me walk around with this booger on my nose this whole time and didn't say nothing to me. I wish I had better friends on the internet, because I would have told you if you had a booger hanging out of your nose right there, I would have told you, and you should really be ashamed of yourself. Over the course of the next 14 days or so, I think I'm gonna try some different stuff and see if I can do some different kinds of comedies and
maybe switch it up a little bit, but keep it, in my same shtick.
And then I'll probably bring it back to what you guys like in a little bit, but I'm getting a little burnout and I don't want to get to a point where I'm just tired of doing YouTube, so I'm gonna just switch up some stuff and see how you like new stuff. But today I got George Carlin. I want to give a shout out to Gail right here
For telling me I'm dumb.
and telling me how much smarter Mr. Carlin was than me. So we're gonna go see how smart Mr. Carlin actually is. And I'm gonna hop into it and I hope you're having a great day.
I got a lot of good ideas. Balance the stupid fucking budget. Here's another idea.
Tell me
I'm
the
going to
idea.
save you a whole lot of money on prisons, but at the same time, we are still going to remove from society many of our more annoying citizens.
Now this has got to be
Four
good.
groups are going away permanently. First group, violent criminals. Here's what you do with these Emmy Award winners.
Well, actually, it's the Oscars. But also, I really appreciate how well he uses his face while on stage, because he doesn't do a lot here. He doesn't do a lot of body movements to sell his jokes. He uses a lot of like facial expressions, and I think that's really like unique.
You take the entire state of Kansas.
We don't need that.
You move
anyway.
everybody out.
Kansas is a horrible state.
You give them a couple of $100 for their inconvenience, you know. Gotta be fair. And then you move them out, you put a big 10-story electric fence around Kansas, and Kansas becomes a permanent prison farm for violent criminals. No parole, no police, no supplies. The only thing you give them is lethal weapons and live ammunition,
I think that's
so
a
they can
great
communicate in a meaningful way.
Great idea.
Then you put the whole thing on cable TV.
Well,
The Violence Network,
do you think the Violence Network could get a Netflix contract? 'Cause we don't really use cable anymore, but I think that the idea is still worthy. I just don't think that anybody's going to watch cable. But like Hulu or Netflix, could y'all pick this up? Because I think that he's onto something.
CNN. And for a corporate sponsor, you get one of those companies that loves to smear its logo feces all over the landscape. Budweiser will jump at this shit in half a minute.
You see, he said shit.
All right, next.
I think that was a pun. He was intentional. He said that find a company that wants to spread their logo and feces, and then he said Budweiser will jump on this shit. I think he did that on purpose. That was a pun.
Group, sex
jokes
criminals.
mixed into
completely
jokes.
incurable. You gotta lock them up. You could outlaw religion, and most of these sex crimes would disappear in a couple of generations. But we don't have time for rational solutions. Much easier to fence off another rectangular state. Rectangular states are cheaper to fence, saves the taxpayers money, you know?
I mean,
This
viable.
time, Wyoming.
I think Wyoming's also a horrible
Only
state.
for true sex offenders. We're not going to bother consenting adults who like to dress up in leather Boy Scout uniforms and smash each other in the head with ball-peen hammers while they take turns blowing their cat. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. It's a victimless hobby. And think of how good the cat must feel. No, we're only going to lock up rapists and molesters. Those hopeless romantics. Who are so full of love, they can't help getting a little of it on you. Usually on your leg. You take all these heavy-breathing fun seekers and you stick them in Wyoming. Then you let them suck, fuck, and fondle. You let them blow, chew, sniff, lick, whip, gobble, and cornhole each other until their testicles are whistling, "Oh, come all ye faithful." Then
Sounds
you
like Dante's
turn on the
Inferno.
cameras and you got the Sperm Channel. And don't forget our corporate sponsor. We're going to let Budweiser put little logo patches on the rapist pants right here. This pud's for you. All right.
He's very much a linguist, right? Very much like Tim Minchin is. He very much is a linguist. Like, words are definitely like the joke, you know? Like, he uses words in a way that's clever, and he like also it like enhances his delivery to say like 10 words back to back to back to back to back that are essentially synonyms, you know, and or 10 words back to back to back to back to back that are adjectives that describe this one thing that wouldn't have been funny if he didn't say these 11 things that are also hilarious words before that one thing. I mean, this would have been funny, but not as funny, you know. That's kind of his thing, his shtick.
Next group, drug addicts and alcoholics. Not all of them, don't get nervous. Just the ones who are making life difficult for at least one other person.
I feel you.
And we're not going to bother first offenders. People deserve a chance to clean up. Everyone will get 12 chances to clean up. All right, 15. That's fine, and that's it. If you can't make it in 15 tries, off you go to Colorado.
I mean, they did legalize pot there.
A perfect place for staying loaded. Each week, all of the illegal drugs confiscated in the United States that the police and DEA don't keep for their own personal use will be airdropped into Colorado. And we're going to turn the Coors Brewery over to the beer-drinking assholes, and everyone can stay wasted, wired, stoned, bombed, hammered, smashed, and shit-faced round the clock on another new cable channel, Shit-Face Central. This is the real Rocky Mountain High.
He's just very lively. I think he's like that in
Okay, I
real life.
saved my favorite group for last.
A lot of people, when you see him on stage, it's like, this is obviously an act, you know? It's obviously an act. You're putting on, like, an act, you know? I really feel like if you go out and you, like, go to dinner with George Carlin, he is talking to the waiter like this. Like, he orders his food like this. I guarantee you he does.
The maniacs and crazy people. Yeah. The ones who live out where the buses don't run. And I distinguish between maniacs and crazy people. A maniac will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo. A crazy person will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo, but he'll be wearing a Bugs Bunny suit at the time.
They make steel dildos?
So you can't put them all away.
Like, that's
You
what I'm
gotta
talking
keep some
about.
of them around.
Like, the joke would have been fine, and any other comedian would have said, a maniac will beat someone to death with a steel baseball bat. But a crazy person will beat someone to death with a steel baseball bat while wearing a Bugs Bunny suit. Like, that's still a funny joke. It's still a joke. It's still a great joke. It's still a joke that any comedian would love to pull off, right? But George Carlin is George Carlin because he says steel dildo, and that little bit of, like, extra, like, linguicism, extra language that he throws in there makes it all so much funnier.
Just for the entertainment. Like a guy who tells you the King of Sweden is using his penis as a radio transmitter to send anti-Semitic lesbian meatloaf recipes to Soupy Sales and Marvin Hamlish. A guy like that, you want to give him his own radio show. No, the Maniac Farm will be reserved strictly for hopeless cases, like a guy who gets a big tattoo on his chest of Liza Minnelli taking a shit. You know? And he tells you if he wiggles a certain way, it looks like she's wiping her ass, you know? A guy like that, you want to get him into custody as quickly as possible.
I agree. Yeah. He's a
Now,
accident
for the
waiting to
Maniac
happen.
Farm, I think there's no question we got to go with Utah. Utah, easy to fence, Easy to fence, right next to Wyoming and Colorado is right next to Kansas, and that means all 4 groups of our most amusing citizens are now in one place, except for the big fences. And I think I have another one of my really good ideas for cable TV.
It is so hot. I don't have the air conditioning. It is hot. I'm still getting over COVID too, and it's just so hot. So I'm sorry.
Gates. Small sliding gates in the fences. Think of what you've got here. Think of what you've got. Predators, degenerates, crackheads, and fruitcakes. 900 miles of fence separating them. Every 50 miles, you put a small sliding gate. But the gates are only 10 inches wide, and they're only open once a month for 7 seconds. And you know something? Fuck cable. This shit has got to be on pay-per-view.
I feel like they could get a big Netflix contract. If you like tour it.
If those gates are only open 7 seconds a month, you are going to have some mighty interesting people pushing and shoving to be first online. Deeply disturbed, armed, cranky lunatics on drugs. You know the ones. A lot of tattoos, a lot of teeth broken off at the gum line. True face of America. And every time you open the gates, a few of the more aggressive ones are going to get through. The creme de la creme. The alphas. They're going to get through, they're going to find each other, and they're going to crossbreed. And pretty soon you have a melting pot. Child killers, corpse fuckers, drug zombies, and full-blown wackaloons. Wandering the landscape in search of truth and fun. Just like now.
For sure.
Everyone will have guns, everyone will have drugs, and no one will be in charge. Just like now. But at least we'll have a balanced budget.
I don't know what the balanced budget has to do with any of that. I think that's like the name of the special. But that was interesting. I would say that, I don't know. I've never came up with a great idea like that. So Gail, you might be onto something. Maybe he is a little bit smarter than me. But I think that he's hilarious. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Hope that you like this new style of content. And yeah, fuck with me. Bye.